Now, speaking of speckled clay, I complained loudly about that. Oh, let me go get that other ball. It may be, here it is. I complained so loudly and publicly about that spectacular clay that was called, the name of it was Spectacular. Let me dump my Hershey Kisses. Now this is spectacular clay, and it's got huge pieces of manganese in it, and you can even see it through the glaze and on here. The difference is visible, let's see, on the bottom of this. This is their new formula. So I called Trinity Clay and talked to a young man who said that they had some complaints about it, but that it wasn't anything significant, and that they had reformulated their speckled buff clay. And so I was intrigued. He was in our conversation. He was telling me, he said, and I quote, "And there's even some lady on YouTube that made a video about it." And I said, that lady was probably me. But he thought that was funny that he was then talking to the person that he was pretty sure made that video that complained about the specks in the spectacular clay. This is what I expected speckled buff to look like. Now, I wouldn't mind if the pieces of manganese were even a little bit larger than they are here, but not quite. I mean, this is a pretty drastic difference. Let's show it on the back. This is tiny, almost powder-like, and this is very visible. The specks on here are very visible. And so I like this, but they could, for the people that want big specks, I think that would be okay to make them a little bit bigger. Just not so big that they're exploding off the kiln. And see, I'll hold this up closer. These are tiny little specks now. Much more manageable. I didn't have I didn't have any mess. Here's some raw clay right around here. I didn't have any mess in the kiln on the shelves from this. So that was good. Anyway, this is, so back to the glazing part. And I'll tell you about some spits and sputters that I did have on another piece. This is Mako Shino, and it has little spots of its own in there. That's why this is so accentuated. So here's that. And I didn't put glaze. I did not put, I glazed this part where the holes are because I want to be able to clean them, and I didn't want them to have a weird, acquire a weird color that looked dirty. So I put glaze around here and on this, and I actually got it inside the holes, and then I waxed the holes just to make sure that the glaze didn't pour into it and fill it up, and it worked. And then I left this raw clay so that I could fire it together. Now, why did I go to that much trouble just to accomplish being able to fire it together? Well, if you fire something like this separately, chances are really good that this will change shape, that this won't end up as round or as exactly the way you put it in there. I had to hammer it off, but that's okay. That was just the specks. It was probably the specks that that made it stick a little bit. It wasn't bad at all. I just tapped it and it came right off. Okay, enough of that. Here are some little pieces of, you can put these on keychains or wear them as necklaces, or you can put them on the end of a zipper on something, but those are some cute little things. Now this one is broken, and it broke before I put it in the kiln, and I glazed it anyway, and fired it, you know, in pieces like that. So I'm gonna try some kintsugi in another video, and I'll show you. If it's only broken in three pieces, so I might be able to make that look real pretty with some gold filled in lines on that. We'll see. It may be a complete disaster. We don't know yet. Love this light blue. This is Norse blue Mako. And again, it's that small new formula for Trinity Speckle Buff. Now so this is Norse blue on brown clay. I was kind of afraid to put Shino cream on the outside of this because it runs terribly. Well, it runs wonderfully, but it could be disastrous. So I just put it on the inside of this, and it ran down into the inside, and then it has little gold specks in there, which is beautiful. And now I wish I'd put just a tiny bit on the outside, but this is what it does. This is Shino cream, and it will, if this was on the bottom, so this may have been a little bit over fired with that in there. And so it comes up with little gold specks sometimes, little spoon rest. Okay, let me change the direction of this light. I'm getting too much glare. All right, these two things are in the category of, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? This is clear glaze, but it's my first experiment with iron oxide. And apparently I did not have my grooves deep enough to make a real dramatic look. And then I probably wiped off too much of it before I put clear glaze on it. And this is ugly, so it's going to get redone. The little pot isn't bad, it's just that the glaze looks bad. And this one, I do not know why, but this one's pitted all over. Nothing else near it was pitted like this. It's an egg separator. Hello. And the inside pitted also. Ugly. That's a do-over coming up. It's a do-over gonna happen. So, and this very cute little mortar and pestle, it stores like this, but you want to use the rounded end when you're using it to mash up something for food. And I also, this is raw in here. Manganese is not going to hurt you if you happened to get a piece of it in your food or something, but that won't happen if you sand out the inside of this and get it nice and smooth before you use it. Same here, if you just get that nice and smooth. Anyway, those work really well. And they're popular. And they're cute. Here's a little eye washer. This is weathered, I think it's weathered blue, and it's also a Mako color. I put a little bit of Shino cream in there. And it turned gold in there, but it just looks like a dirty spot to me now. Okay, here is my first attempt. I did this on a video. It's probably been a year ago. I've been out of commission with family issues for quite a while, and I think that I made this on a video at least a year ago. And I love this. This is great. I was trying to copy what Joe Thompson does with at Old Forge Creations, and I didn't do too bad. That's my first one. And then I did this one too. This is just a little juice glass. It kind of makes a nice little pear, a little breakfast pear, right? And on the inside is, what is that? Now this, I believe that's Norse blue as well. It could be that sea foam from Opulence that I like so well, but it sure does look the same color as that Norse blue. I bought a bunch of Norse blue, and so I just went nuts with it. Okay, let me set that over there. This teapot, I love this teapot. Everything functions the way I wanted it to. It looks good. It has some personality. It drains well. The spout worked out just fine. My goal when I make a teapot is to have this mostly be facing forward, maybe, not tilted. And it's very difficult to make them and not have them tilt the wrong way. So this one is a good one. It doesn't drip. Let me show you. We're going to pour some water out of it. And then we're going to lift it up. And do you see a drip? No, it doesn't drip. And that, to me, that's the real test of a good teapot, is if it doesn't drip. Typically they drip, and there's, people just go, okay, there's just nothing you can do about it. But I've always thought, oh yeah, there's something you can do about it, because they do make stainless steel and different materials. They can make it so it doesn't drip. And I think that that's an important thing. So anyway, like I was saying, this down here, about halfway down, this is kind of a matte finish, and this is not. And I think it's been a while. This stuff has been sitting in the kiln for like over a year, because I've been busy doing other stuff. And up here, from about here up, including this and most of this, it's shiny. The color is kind of the same, but I'm thinking now that I must have put something around here. Some other kind of glaze. So the inside of it is blue, and I did fire the lid. It's got water in it, so I can't get it too far over there, but it's kind of a bright blue, kind of an oceanic blue. Not turquoise, just blue. Let's see if I get some light in there, you might be able to see that better. Can you see that? Yeah, that's pretty. You can see it. So I like to put glaze around the gallery, in the gallery, on the gallery. And I also like to glaze this part of the lid. The reason is, and I drink tea, so if you make a teapot that does not have glaze here or in the gallery, if you use it for tea, if you actually use it and it isn't just for decoration or to put pennies in or something, the tea will eventually make this, it'll stain it, and you won't be able to get it clean. You can't even fire it again and get that out of there. So this just looks better if it's and if you build it right, it'll work. I mean, the little thing doesn't rattle, and it doesn't fall out when you pour the water or tea or whatever it is. So I can go a long ways without that falling out or flooding my table. Okay, so there's one little bead of water on there, which can be remedied by doing that. Love it. Love this teapot. Ooh, I love this cup too. This is one of my favorite cups. Okay, I'm going to set that aside and quit talking about tea. Oh, here's, well, we talked about that one already. Here is a rain stick. Pretty cool, huh? This is slab work, and it has a spiral of nails stuck in it, and I might make a video on how to do this one of these days. This was a commission piece, and this has I believe this is ancient copper on here. It's a little has more glittery stuff on it, and it's just a slab that's closed up at both ends, and you've got millions of little tiny one thing that's important when you make a teapot, a lot of people make them so that they'll fit on the cabinet, or it's flat right along here. Everything lines up and it's totally flat. To me, this is acceptable to be sort of, let's do like that. So it looks like a ship that's washed up on the beach, and it's sort of listing over to one side, like so. So there's air that can get under here, which is a good thing if you want to dry it out, and this is not in harm's way. When you have a favorite teapot like this, you need to be the one that serves the tea so that nobody bumps this beautiful little part right here. This is the most important part right here, is the edge of this, because that's what keeps it from being a dribbler. Anyway, the teapot needs to be washed by you, hand washed, not in a dishwasher, and so that it dries somewhere special where people are not going to be banging into it. And you need to consider how it's going to drain when you're making it, so that all of this works out to your satisfaction. So I just want to add that in there. So I brought this over here to the window too, and I'm still getting, it's just a funky, I can't get what, I want to show you what I'm seeing with my eyes, and let's see. And it's metallic, so it's reflecting. There's quite a bit of reflection there. But and this is the outside. I'm liking that. Okay.